Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this wonderful world of programming. I hope you have all read these points and you are very clear about this. If anyone has any doubt, he or she may unmute himself herself right now. If there is any doubt, please ask it. So let us start session 1. In session 1, we are going to learn introduction to programming. You'll get to know what is programming actually, then why Python, then how to install Python so that we can work with Python on our computer, and how to work with IDLE, IDLE. Now, what is IDLE? You'll get to know in a short time. I begin with what is a computer. All of us have seen many definitions of computers in our school time, college time. Whenever we started using computers, there were so many definitions of computers. Now, let me give you a very simple and easy definition of a computer, and which is very relevant to computer programming also. A computer is an electronic device which is used to perform data processing. That's all. Whenever we are using computer, whether to play a computer game, to play nursery rhymes, to generate bills, to create big reports, to control satellites, for whatever purpose we are using a computer, the job of a computer is to process the data or to do data processing. Now, what is data processing? Performing operations on data to generate the required information. From the data, we get the required information. And this process of getting the required information from data is called data processing. Let us see a few examples. First, what is data? Data is any facts and figures. From anywhere you take the facts and figures, names of students, names of employees, salaries of employees, anything, that is data. A few examples are given here. Marks of students in a school or in a class, that is data. Salaries of employees, that is data. Ticket prices, it can be for cinema hall tickets, railway tickets, bus tickets, airways tickets, any kind of tickets, ticket prices data. Number of COVID-19 patients in different states, in a hospital, or in different countries, that is also data. So these are examples of data. Now, what is data processing and what are the required reports? Suppose marks of the students are given. From the marks, we generate report cards. Now, report card is the information. Result analysis report, that is information. So marks are converted into different reports. So data is processed and we get the required information. For example, salaries of employees. When you process salaries of employees along with employees data, names, departments, allowances, deductions, everything. Using all this data, we generate salary slips, we generate tax deduction reports. So this is the information. We have ticket prices. From different ticket prices, we can create comparative analysis reports. Number of COVID-19 patients in different countries, hospitals or states. From that, we can order the countries or states in ascending or descending order of patients. We can find out, we can do the analysis, whether there is an increase or decline in the infections. And we can combine this data with climate data of a particular country or their respective countries, whether climate affects the infections of COVID-19 or not. So this kind of information we get from the data. And this process is called data processing. Now, from where do we get the data? Data is generated automatically as a result of various day-to-day activities or specialized activities. Day-to-day activities, let us take the example of a hospital. Patients are coming to hospital. Now, patient name, patient age, patient gender, disease, doctor name to which the patient is going, department number, room number, whatever it is. So all that is data. A patient comes, data is generated. Similarly, in a hotel, the guest comes, data is generated. In a school, attendance is taken. It may be in a school or in an office. Attendance is taken, data is generated. Data is continuously generated as a result of various day-to-day activities, or there may be specialized activities also. For example, marks of students. This is not day-to-day activity. This is a periodic activity. For example, COVID-19 data. We are not generating that data before COVID-19, and we will not be generating this after this COVID-19 is over. So data is generated automatically. It is always generated. If you look around you, your room's dimensions, your own height, weight, that is data. Your computer's details, how much RAM is there, how much hard disk is there, all that is data. And processing. Processing is to be done consciously. It is not done automatically. It has to be done consciously by following well-defined instructions so as to get the desired information. For example, employees' data and their salaries data. If we combine this data, then whether we have to create salary slips or we have to create tax reports, for different kinds of reports, we have to follow different types of instructions. So for every report, there are well-defined instructions. So processing is following well-defined instructions to get the desired information from the given data. Now we are using computer for data processing. We always use computers for data processing. It means we give data to the computer, and computer follows well-defined instructions to generate the desired reports. Now these well-defined instructions are not known to the computer automatically. These have to be given to the computer. We have to write a set of instructions to perform any particular job, to generate report cards, to generate salary slips, whatever it is. We write a set of instructions and give it to the computer. And that set of instructions we give to the computer is called a program. Now, what is a program? A set of instructions written for the computer to perform a specific job. And what is programming? The process of designing and writing programs is called programming. And when we have to give instructions to a computer, like if we have to give instructions to anyone, I have to give instructions to my younger brother. I will use some language. It can be Hindi, Punjabi, Arabic, Urdu, Tamil, French, German. It has to be some language. It may be symbolic language also, but some language has to be used to give the instructions to anyone. So when we are writing a program, we are giving instructions to the computer. So we have to use some language to give the instructions to the computer. And such languages are called programming languages. Program is a set of instructions, and we have to use programming languages to write the set of instructions. And what are different programming languages? Python, C#, C, C++, JavaScript, Go, R, Swift, PHP. There are hundreds of programming languages which can be used to write programs, to give instructions to the computer. Each language has its own plus and minus points. But we are learning, or we are going to learn Python. Why Python? Because it is simple to learn. Deciding to learn Python as your first programming language is a very wise decision because it is very simple to learn. It is versatile. Versatile means a variety of applications can be created using Python. You can create your desktop applications. You can create games. You can create bill printing applications. You can create satellite controlling applications. You can create cloud computing applications, artificial intelligence applications, machine learning applications, data sciences. Any kind of application can be developed using Python. And there is supportive Python community. And online help is also there. There are a number of sites from where you can get the help for Python programming. And then there are plenty of job opportunities. That is the main reason. Today, Python is #1 language in demand. So we should learn Python because there's a very bright future in Python and it is very simple to learn. We can create any kind of application and we can take help from the internet or from the social media groups. Now the point is, if I had to start learning Python, then I should install Python on my computer first. So let us see how to install Python. For that, on your browser, type python.org. This is the website which provides you the environment for Python. If you go to python.org, you will see something like this. This is the home page. Here you click at downloads. When you click at downloads, it shows you all releases, source code, Windows, everything. By default, on my computer, it is coming download for Windows because my computer operating system is Windows. So you can choose according to what your operating system is. Python is available for Mac, for Linux, for every platform it is available. So you click at download for Windows, whatever is the download button, you click at the button. It will start downloading. When it downloads, you will find this file, Python 3.8.5. This is the latest version. You double click at this file from wherever this file is downloaded, most probably in your download folder. Double click this and it will ask you something. It will show you the screen. Now on this screen, don't immediately click at install now. Go there, add Python 3.8 to path. You have to click this box. Why? We shall see later. Click there and then again go to install now and it will start installing. It will ask you for the permission. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? You have to say yes. It will start the installation. And when it is installed, it will tell you setup was successful. And then you can close this window. After that, where is it installed? You go to your search bar and type idle, IDLE. When you type idle, it will show you idle 3.8 32-bit. On my computer, because I have already installed Python 3.7 also. Last night only I installed Python 3.8. So it is showing me both. On your computer, if you are installing Python for the first time, it will show idle Python 3.8 32-bit. You click there, then it will show you all these options. Open, run as administrator. As the first thing, what you do is you pin this shortcut to the taskbar. Then this shortcut will be pinned to the taskbar like this. Now you can click at this and your Python starts. Let us see how does it start. Now you can see my desktop. On my desktop, here you see on the taskbar, there is a shortcut for Python. You have to click there. It will open this window. This is called Python shell. I am resizing it as I need it. Now you are ready to start Python, to do programming in Python, to learn Python. So here, let me stop. And let me ask you if you have any doubt till this point. Anyone? You can open your mics and ask me.
Yogesh, as of now, there is no doubt, and it was really simple and in plain, and we are really enjoying on this. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you. Let me continue. These three greater than signs, this is called prompt. You don't have to type prompt. This is called prompt. At the prompt, you can type any valid command in Python. We shall see what are valid commands in Python. And before that, let me tell you that you can configure this. In the configuration, I will tell you only one thing. See carefully, options, configure. You can set the font size according to your requirement. Some people find it too small. Then you can change the font size from here. You have to see what font size is comfortable for you. I find font size 14 and font face Courier New to be very comfortable. So I do that. Courier New, size 14. As a ritual,
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Can you just make the font a bit higher, means a bit bigger? It is,
okay, it is not visible properly. Okay,
yes, yes.
okay, I'll do that. Let me say font size is 18. Is it visible comfortably to everyone? If anyone
Yes, sir. Yes,
problem,
yes.
Yes, sir.
okay. Now, as a ritual, okay, every religion has a ritual. So programming, the religion of programming has a ritual. Whenever we start, we say print hello world. So at this prompt, you will type print hello world and it will display hello world. Now let me explain this. And you people can take your notebooks also. All those who are learning Python as their first programming language, or all the other people who are learning programming for the first time, take a notebook and write this. Print is a function to display the specified content on screen. Print is a function to display the specified content on screen. For example, when I said print hello world, so it displayed hello world. I assume that you have copied it. Now, let me tell you one more thing, that Python, you can copy this also, is a case sensitive language. Python is a case sensitive language. Case sensitive means whatever is defined in small alphabets, that has to be used in small alphabets. Whatever is defined in capital, that has to be used in capital. For example, print. This function is defined in small alphabets. The function name is in small alphabets. If I say print like this, Python will say, I don't understand what is this. Python will say name error. The name print is not defined. So print has to be used in small alphabets only. You cannot use capital alphabets or a mix. One more thing. After print, whatever you want to type, whatever you want to display, that has to be specified within parentheses. Parentheses means circular brackets. If you don't specify in circular brackets, then there will be error. Missing parentheses. For the people who don't know, let me tell that these brackets are technically known as parentheses. Whenever we say parentheses, it means this only. And these are called brackets. When we say brackets, technically it means this only. We don't have to say square bracket. And whenever we use these curly braces, there's no need to say curly braces. This is called braces only. Braces automatically means curly. Parentheses, brackets, and braces. Okay. Print is a function which is used to display the specified content on the screen. And when we use print, we have to specify the content within parentheses. And do we have to specify within quotation marks? Let us see. If I say print 2 plus 3, it will display 2 plus 3. It can be within double quotation marks or it can be within single quotation marks also. Same thing. And if I type something without quotation marks, for example 2 plus 3 without quotation marks, then Python will take it as an expression and it will try to evaluate it. 2 plus 3, 2 plus 3 is 5. Now it will display 5. Whenever you type something without quotation marks in print function, it always tries to evaluate it. And within quotation marks, as it is. Within quotation marks, if you write print 2 plus 3 is equal to 3, Python has nothing to do with it. Whatever you specify within quotation marks, it will display as it is. Right or wrong, that is not Python's headache. And if you type something without quotation marks, it will evaluate it and then display error, because this is not a valid expression 2 plus 3 equal to 3. Similarly, if I try to type something like this, hello. Now this is without quotation marks, hello. Now what will happen? Python will try to evaluate it. What is the value of hello? Hello has no predefined meaning, no value. So Python will not be able to evaluate it and it will show an error. So you have to be careful where you have to use quotation marks and where you don't have to use quotation marks. And we can also use multiple values with print. For example, I can say 3, 4, 5. It will display 3, 4, 5. I can say print 2 plus 3, comma 2 plus 3. Now see, this is interesting. I want Python to display two values which are separated by comma, first value and second value. First value is within quotation marks, it will display it as it is. Second value is without quotation marks, it will evaluate it. So it will display 2 plus 3, 5. When I'm using 2 plus 3, the computer is doing addition operation. So what other operations can be performed? I can say 2 minus 3. It will display minus 1, whatever operation we want to do. Now here, which different operations? Let me say 3 plus 2, addition, 3 minus 2, subtraction, 3 into 2. For multiplication, we use star. 3 divided by 2. All of us know these operations, plus, minus, multiply, and divide. Now there are some special operations also. What are those? Double slash. I will explain what is it. Percentage. Percentage is not percentage. Okay, it performs something else. Let us see what is it. And then double star. It displays 5 for 3 plus 2, 1 for 3 minus 2, 6 for 3 into 2, 1.5 for 3 upon 2, 1 for 3 double slash 2. What is it? I shall explain. 1 for 3% 2. What is it? I shall explain. And then 9 for this. Let me explain what is it. So we have to see what is 3 double slash 2, 3% 2, and 3 star star 2. This operator double slash is called floor division. Percentage is called modulo or remainder operator. This is called exponent or power. Now what is floor division? 3 divided by 2, 2 ones are 2, 1 0, 2 5s are 10. This is normal division. Okay. In floor division, we don't take this decimal part. So 3 divided by 2, 1, 2 ones are 2, remainder is 1. This is 3 remainder 2. Remainder is what remainder we studied in our primary school. Remainder of the division. And this one is your floor division. 3 divided by 2, floor division. And what is exponent or power? By the name you can very well understand this is 3 raised power 2, that is 9. And if you remember, 3 floor division 2 displayed 1, this was 1. 3 remainder 2 that also displayed 1, this one. And then 3 raised power 2 displayed 9. I hope it is clear. So different operators are plus for addition, minus for subtraction, star for multiplication, slash for division, double slash for floor division, then percentage for remainder, and double star for exponent. Now main confusion is always there to the students in floor division and modulo. Many students get confused in this. So let me give another example of floor division and modulo operator. Suppose I have to do 30 floor division 7 and 30 remainder 7. This is 30 floor division 7. I don't go to decimal thing. And this is 30 remainder 7. Now, this thing changes when we use negative numbers. For example, minus 30 floor division 7, what will happen? Minus 30 remainder 7, what will happen? 30 floor division minus 7, what will happen? 30 remainder minus 7, what will be the output? Minus 30 floor division minus 7 and minus 30 remainder minus 7. Let me do one of these. Let me do 30 floor division minus 7 and 30 remainder minus 7. First you forget this negative. You divide by 7, simple. Till one decimal point it is sufficient. Quotient is always negative. Whenever the divisor and dividend have opposite signs, the quotient is always negative. So the answer of 30 divided by 7 is minus 4.2. Now what is 30 floor division minus 7? Now it will not be minus 4. You have to take an integer which is just below it. So 30 floor division minus 7 is equal to minus 5. It is not minus 4. Now I pause here. I think some people may have doubt till this point in this case. If anyone has any doubt or the things are not getting clear, please ask me.
Sir, please try to explain me again of percentage.
Percentage, okay. Percentage or modulo can be understood when floor division is clear. Okay. Tell me what is the floor of minus 1.5. Tell me what is the floor of 1.5. What is the floor of 2? What is the floor of minus 2? What is the floor of 3.00001? What is the floor of minus 3.00. One more example. What is the floor of 2.9999? And what is the floor of minus 2.9? Okay. What is the floor of minus 1.5? You can open your mic and tell me.
Sir, 2 minus 2.
Minus 2. That is correct. It is minus 2. Now, if anyone has any doubt in this, open your mic and ask. I will explain.
Sir, I don't understand.
Okay. Do you know number line?
Yes.
You know number line. Where is minus 1.5? Minus 1.5 is somewhere here between minus 1 and minus 2.
Yes.
Is that clear? Now, what is the number? What is the integer which is on the left of it? Just left of it.
Minus
What is
2.
it? Minus 2. That is the floor.
Okay. Understand.
Okay. That is the floor because that is the integer just below it. What is the floor of 2?
Sir, 1 plus
No.
1. Yes.
Floor of an integer is that integer itself.
Okay.
Floor of 1.5. Floor of 1.5.
2.
It is 1. 1.5
It's 1.
is here. What is the integer just to left of it? 1.
1.
We don't have to take an integer which is greater than it. It will never be greater. We have to take an integer which is equal to it or less than it. Floor of minus 2.
Minus 2.
Minus 2.
Minus 2.
Floor of 3.0001.
3.
And this
Minus 3. Minus 4.
Minus 4.
4. Yes. This one
2.
2.
and this one.
Minus 3.
Yeah,
Minus
minus
3.
3.
Now, again, I pause here. If anyone has any doubts, still, if it is not clear, just tell me. See, I know I've been teaching the freshers. When the students come to me in class 11 in our Indian schooling system, it is their first programming language. And this is the first point where they get confused. So that is why I'm giving so much stress here. I know this is a confusing point. If anyone has any confusion in this, please ask. Don't hesitate. So I assume that it is clear to everyone? Fine. It is clear.
Okay, it's clear.
Now I come to minus 30 floor division. Now this is floor division. It will give me the floor of the quotient. Now see the things are how easy. Divided by 7. Forget this negative. 7 fours are 28. 2, 0, 0.72s are 14. This much is sufficient for me. Quotient will be negative. So what will be the floor of this?
5.
Minus 5.
5. Yes, minus 5.
Minus 5. Minus 5.
So it is quite easy now. Similarly, 30 divided by minus 7, that is also minus 5. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now, when you know that the floor is minus 5, minus 37, you do the floor division, you'll get minus 5 here. 7 minus 5s are minus 35. This is how we do division. For example, if I have to do 30 divided by 7, 7 fours are 28. When we write 4 here, we multiply this 4 with 7. 7 fours are 28. Similarly, when I know that floor division will give me minus 5, 7 minus 5s are minus 35. Then do the subtraction. 5. This is the remainder. Minus 30, remainder 7. Let me take another example.
Then, sir, we can directly do this method. That's 7 divided by minus 30, and you do 35.
No, where did I do 35? This 35 is there because 7 5s are 35. Let's take another example. It will be clear. Minus 28 divided by, you give me any number?
9.
9. I will do 28 divided by 9. 9 3s are 27. Answer will be negative. Point something. So I know that floor division is going to give me
-4.
-4. So let me directly write -4 here.
Why the negative?
Because whenever the dividend and the divisor have opposite signs, the quotient is always negative. Always. These two are opposite signs, minus 28 by 9. The result will be positive or negative?
Negative.
Yes, that is why minus. Still not clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Now 9 minus 4 are minus 36.
36.
Do the subtraction. Plus 36 minus 28 is 8. This is the remainder. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And let us check it on the computer. Minus 28, floor division 9. Minus 4. Minus 28, remainder 9. We got this only? Let us
Yes.
check. Yes, it is correct. Minus 4 and 28. Now minus 30 divided by 7 and minus 30, remainder 7. Minus 5 and 5. Here you can observe minus 5 and 5. Is that clear?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, why print function is not there?
Yes, I was coming to that point only. Now here you observe that I can get these values without print function also. Actually, this idle shell can be used as a calculator also. If you give a valid expression without print also, it evaluates that expression and gives the result.
Sir, in this prompt will automatically display or we have to display it?
No, it is automatically displayed. And all of you must install Python today itself by following the method which I told you and practice this. So I hope print statement is clear, and then there's different operations, those are also clear.
Sir,
Remainder and floor division, which gives big problem, those are also clear.
sir,
Yes.
sir, if we use print function in with this, then also we will get same answer.
Yes. Print minus 30, floor division 7, minus 30, remainder 7. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any other doubt? Don't hesitate, and please remember, no question ever is a stupid question. When you ask some question, it means you are interested and you are trying to learn. Okay, no question is a stupid or silly question. Just ask anything which is not clear. Okay, I assume that, yes.
Sir, in this floor, सर इन दिस आपने फ्लोर तो सिखाया, फ्लोर आपने सिखाया और इसमें परसेंटेज, एक बार परसेंटेज फिर से सिखाओ ना.
परसेंटेज फिर से सिखाओ तो लो जी. फ्लोर क्लियर है तो परसेंटेज भी क्लियर है. Anyone who does not know Hindi in this group? So all of you understand Hindi. Good. Now the person who asked me, sir,
Yes,
एक बार
sir.
फिर से सिखाओ ना, So to that
Yes, sir.
person only. Now this question goes.
Yes, sir.
Minus 26 floor division 8. Tell me the answer.
-4.
Very good.
Min
Now do this division. 8 minus 4s are
4.
18. Tell me.
-32.
Yes, minus 32. If you remember the division which you learned in school, 8, 8 threes are 24. We do it like this and then we do the subtraction. 2 is the
Yes.
remainder. So here also 8 into minus 4 is minus 32 and then we do the subtraction. When we subtract, we change the sign of this number. Now this is plus 32 minus 26. What is the result?
6.
6. So this is the remainder.
Okay, sir. I understood.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay, you have to practice it. Now I go back to Python shell. Now we move to something else. In the print statement, when I give multiple values, for example, when I say print 4, 5, 6, 7, what will it display?
4, 5, 6, 7.
4, 5, 6, 7.
There's a gap, there's a space between all these, between any two consecutive values. 4 and 5, there's a space. So these consecutive values are separated by spaces. Now what we can do is, we can separate these values by some other string also. For example, I can say print 4, 5, 6, 7, comma, sep equal to, sep for separator, sep equal to, now I can give anything within quotation marks. Let me say and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7.
Sir, what is SAP?
Sep is a shortcut for separator. What separator do you want between consecutive values? By default, the value of separator is space. If you wish, you can give anything else also. Let me say sep equal to is not. 4 is not, 5 is not, 6 is not, 7.
Sir,
Getting
in
it?
this we can anything.
Yes, anything. Anything. You want to give anything? Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7 and sep equal to anything. 4 anything, 5 anything, 6 anything, 7. So now you must realize that yes, we can give anything as sep. Sep equal to, let me say, star. Is that clear?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, one doubt is there. Sir, if we will not write print and only we will write 3 plus 2, then what will be the output of that?
I simply write 3 plus 2 like this.
Yes, sir.
5.
Okay, so
Because,
then the direct output will be occurred na if we will not write print.
yes, I just told that without print also, if you give any valid expression at the prompt, it evaluates that expression, gives the result.
Sir, and if we will write only 3, then
Yeah. What is it? It will try to evaluate it. What is the value of 3? It is 3 only.
okay, sir.
Keep asking, keep asking. The more you ask, the more you will learn. Because I also know that on the internet, if you try to search for the content, most of the sites assume that the students already know Python or a little bit of it. They start with jargon. They start telling hi-fi things. And the students who are real beginners, they don't understand and they leave it. So these things will not be explained in all those websites. So this is an opportunity. You can ask anything.
Sir, may I ask if I add Just like A plus B, then what will be the answer? No digit, only A
What
plus
is,
B.
okay, what is the value of A?
Nothing, there is no value.
There's no value. Oh, Python also says what is A? What is this? I don't know. Getting it?
Yeah. Okay.
But later on I shall explain that yes, we can write A plus B also. How to do that? I shall explain. I hope in the next class, because right now only 4 minutes are left. So let us keep it till this point only. So what we have learned is, I think we have seen introduction to programming. We know what is programming. Writing the set of instructions for the computer to perform any specific job. Although we have not done programming till this point, but we know what is programming. Programming can be done to create any kind of report, to control any kind of device, or for anything which you think that it is possible with computer. Why Python? It is the most happening language, number one language in use today. There are a lot of jobs. It is very easy to learn, as you saw. Installing Python, how to install Python, and then working with idle. Now the shell in which you work, that is idle. Okay, idle shell. Idle stands for integrated development and learning environment. Integrated development and learning environment. We worked with idle. So we can close the class. But before that, let me tell you that there is a feedback form that you can fill. And in that feedback form, your name and email address is optional. If you want to give, you can give. If you don't want to give, don't give. That doesn't matter, but the feedback should be true feedback. Wherever you found that, yes, this was missing in the class, you have to specify that also. There are some messages in the chat. Let me see if there are some useful and some messages which can be shared with everyone. I will share those messages. Sir, I not understand about percentage. Please explain me again. I hope it is clear. The person who asked it, please tell me whether it is clear or not
Yes,
now.
sir.
Okay. Little Hindi,
Yes,
but
sir,
no
clear.
problem. If you don't understand anything, the person who wrote little Hindi, but no problem. The person who wrote this, if you don't understand anything, please ask me. I know Hindi, English, and Punjabi, these three languages only.
Okay, sir.
Ritvik Khanna, thanks a lot for the class. You are okay. Thank you, Ritvik. Thanks, Vinay. Okay, now I will put that feedback form in the chat. Please fill the feedback form and then you can leave. And next class, I shall try to keep it after 2 or 3 days. I will inform you again on the, I will post in all the groups where I posted earlier. I
Yes,
will post on my wall also. From there also you can pick it. So this feedback form is there. All of you please fill the feedback form. So bye bye students for today. We shall meet again later.